either. So when you say, well, there never used to be any crime in Loudoun County, well, there never used to be any crime in Fairfax and in Indiana and places like that. But as the areas grow, and as the city influence, I guess, if you will, or the urbanization moves out this way, we're going to get the bad with the good, and that's just a fact of life. But what we have to do is continue to be proactive, continue to build partnerships in our business community, in our residential community, to make us a strong, safe community, and enjoy the low crime rates that we have so far, and that we should continue to expect. But it takes being proactive, it takes working together as law enforcement and as citizens. We all have to work together to make this happen. And that's some of what we're going to talk about later on tonight. We have some folks here with the Sheriff's Office who are going to talk about personal safety, residential safety, business safety, neighborhood watch programs, that type of thing. We have some literature in the back about victim awareness, those types of things. So we have some literature on that. We're going to have a representative from our community policing section here to maybe talk about or answer some questions you may have about specific community activities and how you can be involved and how we can be involved together in our different communities in addition to neighborhood watch. Also have the supervisor from the gang unit here, who's going to give a very brief overview of the types of gangs we see here in Loudoun County, what we've been experiencing in the past few years, what the trends are, the different types of gangs, who's most active. We don't want to glamorize and glorify these people who do this any more than we have to. That's why we're not talking specifically about some gang activity. But we do want to let you know what is out here in the community, what to be aware of as best we can. You put out there different colors and different activities and things like that a gang uses. Well, they changed that so that they're not quite as conspicuous as they used to be. You don't see as many people walking around with tattoos on their forehead that indicate the gangs are in, things like that. They're a little more discreet in some cases with how they do things. So those kind of trends, those kind of habits change, but we're going to do the best we can to kind of explain a little bit about what's here in Loudoun County, what's in the region that we have to deal with from a gang perspective. And even though I mentioned something earlier about the affiliation of those people involved in this incident, even though a couple of them have what are possibly some loose gang affiliations, doesn't necessarily make a gang crime. So those are things we're still working out, and because I've had that question a lot, was this a gang-related crime? It's different if you're a gang member or you're affiliated with a gang and you commit an assault, or you have a domestic, or you whatever the case might be, you might be involved in some type of an incident. But if it's not for the betterment or the glory of the gang, it's not a gang-related crime, just generally. So to get to that determination is going to take some more work and some investigating on our part. But like I said, this is a very active case, and we'll do the best we can later on to answer some questions that you might have. Along the lines of the gangs, what I'd like to do first of all, I guess, is bring up Dave Zuliger, who's our supervisor in charge of the gang unit here in Loudoun County. One of our gang investigators is assigned to the regional gang task force that we participate in and have been for a number of years. And that's been a huge program for us. The gang unit here in Loudoun County and being a part of the regional gang task force that was started with the regional law enforcement agencies with the help of Congressman Wolf back when that first started. And that's been huge for this area because we were right at a point, especially in Loudoun County, we were right on the edge. And as those of us who worked the street for many years begin to see some of this trending in this direction, some of the graffiti that we saw, some of the different things that we saw that led us to believe that these gangs were trying to come out here and trying to recruit and trying to get a stronghold in the community. We got very aggressive, I think, at the right time because we've been able to hold a lot of it back. And that's why we have to continue to be very aggressive and very proactive in this area to try to keep this activity down as best as possible. To get rid of gangs, it's like saying we're going to get rid of drugs. It's a very big problem. It's everywhere. It's nationwide. It's worldwide. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of people involved in it. The people that are part of the gangs are not always illegal. They're people that live in the community. They sometimes go to school. Their families live here, parts of the community as well. So to just say we're going to get them out of here is not as easy as it may sound or as easy as some may like. So it's a long process, it's a continuous process, something we have to continue to work on, just like the drug problem. It's something we just have to stay vigilant on and try to keep it away from us as best as possible. And that's a full-time job, and you have to be very proactive at that as well. And that's something we're doing. So if I could introduce Sergeant Zuliger with the Sheriff's Office kind of give you a very brief overview about what's going on in Loudoun County and in the region around here with our gang issues. Thank you.
Evening, everybody. Like the sheriff said, Sergeant Dave Zuliger, Loudoun County Sheriff's Office Gang Intelligence Unit. Appreciate everybody showing up tonight. I'll try to make this brief but informative at the same time. Basically, in Loudoun County, we deal with 4 main gangs. All right, it's MS-13, 18th Street, Bloods, and Crips. The age group of every one of these gangs tends to be between 13 and 21 years of age, categorized as criminal youth gangs. And the majority of the people that we deal with are under the age of 18. The races tend to be mixed, and the locations of these individuals in Loudoun County, the majority you can categorize as being east of Route 15. The crimes that they conduct range anywhere from homicide to credit card fraud. And my 7 guys that work with me have been investigating those types of crimes for the last 6 years. MS-13 and 18th Street tend to be Hispanic gangs, but the trends we've seen in the last couple of years, they've opened up their arms and are accepting other nationalities. All right, we've had white kids, black kids, Asian kids located in both of those gangs. The Bloods and the Crips, same thing. They're opening arms. They're opening their ranks, where traditionally the Bloods tended to be a black gang. It's not that way anymore, at least here in Northern Virginia. So they'll take anybody that they can get hold of. We have a process called validation that we use on gang members, and we'll refer to them as validated gang members or gang associates or suspected gang members. And we use this process when we go to court so that we can articulate in court that this person is just not a guess at being a gang member. During interviews and investigations, they reach a certain threshold, whether it be from omission, from associations, from crimes that they've done, or several other different common denominators, and put it together so that we go to court and say, this person here is a validated gang member associate of, let's say, XYZ gang. And we have charged them with gang participation, whatever the other crime may be, that we get convictions with it. And I know the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and our guys have been getting quite a few gang participation convictions over the last several years with these guys. Outlaw motorcycle gangs. We currently don't have any what we refer to as clubs. Motorcycle clubs are referred to as outlaw motorcycle gangs. None of them are currently based in Loudoun County, but anywhere from Alexandria all the way up to Winchester, you can find it. They tend to be the warlocks, the pagans, and the outlaws. So during your travelings, you see these guys riding around, they'll have their colors on, be able to read the back rocker panels, and they'll spout out exactly who they are. When we see them in Loudoun County, they tend to be 1 or 2, and they're just passing through. We also have something that we deal with called homegrown gangs. And to give you an example of it, you might have 4 or 5 young people, and they're in middle school, because we catch them that early. They decide they're going to form the ABC gang. And they'll stay together and commit crimes and meet the Virginia criminal definition for a criminal street gang. Some of them grow out of it, some of them don't. But eventually, as they grow up and some of them go on to college, they disappear. So over the last 6 years, we've dealt with the 703 crew, SKF, Sterling Park crew, Hill Boys, IGD, Dirty Mexicans, Latin Thug crew, 434 crew, the Ace Mob, Corrupt, which was one of our few female gangs, and the Pink Ladies, which was also a female gang. Other gangs such as Southside Locos, Latin Kings, Mexican Mafia, and Sir 13 drift in and out of the county. At this point, they're not major players, but we do deal with them occasionally. Gang members can be extremely